Okay, so now we're back. I want to talk a little bit about the things that are required for this here, what I'm calling a Gordy method. This lathe came with brass tip screws and something we commonly refer to as a cat's head out the backside, a tailstock assembly that's threaded to accept screws so that we can do something called chambering through the headstock, which means that we can, you'll notice here the way this barrel is set up, let's see if I can get this out of the way for you. See, that's going to work a lot better. Maybe we can do this, maybe we can make some improvements on the last time we did this. These are the screws that came with the lathe, and they have a nicely fitted copper tip in them. The problem with the nicely fitted copper tip is that it's on a bolt that is too long. You will notice, if you can see, I'm going to put this thing back on auto and just see how auto is going to work today. The autofocus on this thing has been sometimes less than perfect. Okay, so there, I can put my ugliness in there and get a focus. Can we see this? Hello. Anyway, maybe get closer. I'm not really good at this camera thing. So, these are the ones that came with it. Now, I recently ordered some more from Grizzly, and I got these little guys right here. I've never actually used them much. I did one barrel with them, and frankly I fumbled and jumbled, and I put them aside, so I went back to my old ones when I videotaped the last time. And when I videotaped the last time, which you may well see if I can ever get it edited out, I did the classic mistake of Gordying the barrel all up in there and forgetting to tighten the outboard screws, and went down to take some readings and realized that those outboard screws were so I'll have to decide. I should probably, because I can't buy them, decide what I'm going to do here. I might either epoxy some of these up here so that they can act as a nut, so that they're nice to use, because you don't need this locking assembly in my opinion. So I might do this. I ordered some extras. Then I still have a fitting in the middle for the wrench, for a hex wrench. We call them an Allen wrench, but hey, I'm an American. Sometimes us Americans misspeak in regards to, you know, the terms of the rest of the world. So every now and again I'll try to use terms that are more familiar to other people. Normally I screw it all up, but that's neither here nor there. That's just me trying to be, you know, smarter than I really am, which is just part of life. So, we're going to try to show this pretty much piece by piece, bit by bit, everything relevant that we can do. The problem is that I don't know how to edit. I have no editing. I mean, I have editing software. I just refuse to take the time to learn to use it. I'm not scared of it. I'm not. I call myself a Luddite. Really, I'm not. I was a techie before techies were techies. But now I'm old. I don't want to go through the learning curve. That's where we are now, is that I'm imparting another sort of information here. This is the furthest thing from my YouTube channel. But it is hopefully an informative channel. So we're going to go around, stick these in the back. I'm going to disappear for just a minute. I'm still back here, you just can't see me. Somebody's got to make some kind of an inference about ostriches and heads in the sand. So, in we go. We're bearing down. All I'm going to do is support this end. I will drive the cart around and show you what I got going here. We're going to dial this thing up forevermore between centers just so we can take measurements and we can look at it, we can all agree, we can test things like maybe whether Gordy's rod is corresponding to a test indicator. Maybe, I don't know. We can try all kinds of stuff once we get this thing up in the lathe. But right now what I'm going to do, and unfortunately I've done this so many times right now that I've got more of these things than I'll ever probably burn up in my life. But I want to start from scratch again, and I am going to show you how we build the devices that I use to hold the barrel. Hopefully one day I'll get the other video cleaned up and we'll revisit that. And I'm sure there's things, I was in the mood. I mean, I was rolling. I was making sense that day, and that's not always the case. This extemporaneous thing is hard. So, here's what you need for Al's holding method. And this is for holding a barrel in the lathe and yet allowing it to swivel. There are some other chucks on the market, there's other things on them, there's other ways, but this is the way I do it. I have tried everything. I've got pieces and parts laying around. I've got brass shims that I made out of pipe, finely crafted from pipe. I've got aluminum. I've got aluminum flat shims, aluminum angled shims, aluminum shims that were L-shaped, and you'll notice that the corners are knocked off because I'm a safety geek kind of a guy. You'll notice that these have been used, they're impressed to the barrel. I've done, and this is only a start. I mean, only a start. I reach over here. Well, hey, I'm going to take the whole drawer out because this is one of the drawers right here. Those are all barrel holding apparati. This here being one of the least intuitive. The other ones are rings. This right here goes, actually fits on the lathe, and with a slight bend it clips on there like a clothespin. What is that silly thing? Like that one pin thing that ladies use. I don't know what it is. Okay, next drawer over has more and more and more we go on. This is another one that we've used. These chunks hanging out. Liable to lose an eye with this one. Don't want to do that. But the keys to this are garden variety tomato wire. Don't know what they call this in other places, because I'm sure there will be somebody in England or Australia that's going to be watching this because of the channel where it originated. The place it originated is an internet forum, and there's lots of them, what we call furners, on there from all over the place. And they may not understand my accent very well, but by the same token, you guys have to understand that over here on this side of the pond, I could fake an accent of some sort and I could sound, you know, there are people over here whose entire channel is devoted to the fact that they sound like a Russian or a Scandinavian. Or Lord forbid they try to come up with some kind of a fake Australian English accent. This side of the pond, pretty much, if you use an English accent, everybody believes you because you're smarter than us bohunks on this side of the water. Some of us don't buy into that whole theory. I believe all God's children got the same brain. I don't care who or where or what they're from. So anyway, this is, hey, look at that. I think I got it to, who cares what it reads? The point is, it's this. It is bread tie wire. But watch the way this works. This is actually pretty cool. First of all, got a little clippy here. Clippy. Clippy. I'm going to make you live through all of this because, as I said, no editing. If I ever get editing software, I can speed this up and I go, hey, show you one, and then, but there's only 4, so shut up and live with it, people. Only 4. I should make 5. The last 2 times I did this, I made 5 because I always make 5, and I wanted to stress the fact that I always make 5 because I always break one. 2 things happened. Number 1, I didn't break any. And number 2, I have a whole bunch of extras. So now, this, on this side of the pond, is known as line. Get yourself some copper line right here. We have uses for it that the rest of the world maybe doesn't need to have a use for. But you take this copper line, which is simply copper tubing, hose, flex line, use it for plumbing in your refrigerator. Cut some chunks. And again, I'm not gonna try to make this as quick as I can. And one more. If I can do this without pinching my fingers. Then I take another plier that I have up here. You'll notice that it's a plier, or it's pliers, okay? There's a difference, people. If nothing else, you're going to learn how to speak correctly. And I pinch it. I don't know if that was visible, but I use this, I pinch it and the end pops open. Kind of cool like that. You got to hold it in just the right place, and it pops open like opening a mouth. So here we go. We open this one. This is the part where I'm supposed to be speeding up the video. But I tell you, I'm going to reiterate this for a while until I get used to it. I've never done a YouTube thing, but the reason I had to do it is because the non-information that's out there on the YouTube is unbelievable. And I got no problem with the internet. I believe it's the best source of information going. And I'm a guy with a lot of books in the house, so hey, here's one that I might break. I might have to make another one. Come on, little mouthy, open up. This one's not opening well. Might have to poke something in there. See what happens here. Ooh, see, that one opened really nicely. This side here, I might have to stick a pin in it. I'm going to start the quickest, easiest way right now. See if I can poke myself in the finger. See if this works. I think I got far enough over to illustrate what I'm doing here. So now, we take a piece of this here tie wire, tomato wire. This one's a little wee bit that's good. You poke it through the hole. That's why we made the hole. Pink. There we go. Center it up. Give it a righteous pinch. Center it up on the other side. Give it another pinch. Doesn't have to look good. It just has to be there. So, let's make all of these while I'm talking here. See, that's the other thing about doing a YouTube channel on my terms. I can and will say what I want. You know, if Jeremy Clarkson can wear a Che Guevara shirt down the Mekong on a nationally televised show, then I can certainly say my opinions here on this channel. And there's going to be times that that you are going to disagree with it, and that's the point of this. That is my point here. That's what I'm striving for, people. I want you screaming. I want you thinking. More important to me than any learning that you may get from what I'm doing is that you think, that you look and go, oh yeah, or oh no, or oh you're an idiot, or you know, please, that's the only reason that this channel is here, is because there is so much crap out there. There is so much absolute non-information that it drives me insane. Sit down and watch a YouTube video and the whole thing is about the editing and the cut scenes and the pop and the this and the that and the lighting and the guy's beautiful. I'm sorry, folks. I ain't beautiful. And I don't have the time to sell. Rush came up with a thing years ago. Some of you might know who Rush is. The other Rush, to you James May types that went somewhere else, the wannabe Manleys. Rush coined a phrase, well, I don't know if he coined it, but he used it a lot. Symbolism over substance. We got no symbolism here, guys. We have poor production values. We have terrible cut scenes. But I would like to believe that we will have substance. This is the real deal. This is a real guy really doing real stuff. And if it goes my way, we're going to take this real stuff out and we're going to throw it up. When I started this, I have 3 cameras and 3 little roamer cameras. Instead of GoPros, I went with a company called Contour, which is neither here nor there. I may switch to GoPros, I don't know. But I pictured, okay, when I go shoot, I'm going to set up a camera on my shooting bench and then put one of those little blocks in the corner of the screen for the bullets hitting the target. Well, number one, that's been done. Number two, I swear, I watch these YouTube videos and they're done like that, and I swear that most of the time the people cheat. The groups that are not cheated are not anything that I that I would ever put on the internet for people to see. And some of the other ones, I swear, bang, took, and I swear the groups they're shooting are not the groups that are printing. So I'm going to try something different. If this works out that I can go right through the build all the way up till I'm shooting out the window, I'm going to set up a spotting scope on the window. Probably with a screen. I don't know. Help me out. Maybe a spotting scope with a monitor with a screen so I can read the screen so that they can shoot with the screens right there so it's all in the camera at the same time. Just because my fight here is with disinformation. Somehow journalists have become something else. They're out there busy pushing political agendas instead of just reporting what's going on. I get the fact that they don't understand what's going on. I've written before. I've been misrepresented. I understand misrepresentation. I was just out of high school. I wrote a guy at the local paper heard that I went fishing a lot. And he was from, let's just say that he was from a different culture than Minnesota Farm Boy. So I wrote this well-written article about largemouth bass fishing. Largemouth bass fishing is a visceral sport, half hunting, half fishing, when it's done the way I do it, which is top water, under calm conditions in the evenings and in the mornings, and just classic. I don't like jigging, I don't like, I mean I'll use worms, I'll use cranks, I'll use anything, but top water bass fishing. So I wrote this article from that perspective. Perfect evening on the lake, sun where it was, trees where they were, and the weeds, I don't even remember my descriptor, but it was really good. It was describing how the weeds moved 10 or 12 feet away from the lure, the water slowly boiled up, and then this bucket mouth flushes this bait. Without trying to recreate something that happened when I was, 18, 16, 17 years old. And that was more than 5 years ago. Because my memory back 5 years is still pretty good. I might be able to recreate it. I said, old bucket mouth flushes the bait. Don't remember all the rest of it. The article came out and he had written seek. So he came in the store afterwards and he said, well, how did you think, how'd your article turn out? And I said, well, at least you didn't change the words. But he said, well, I knew what you meant. I knew you meant flashes. Now that's just ignorant speaking. No, I meant flushes, dude. I meant that bait was flushed by old bucket mouth. Period. That's what I wrote. That's what I meant. I know how to spell flush versus flash. So that I don't mind though. I was just life, He didn't know any better. He's never been on the lake. He's never seen a bass. But this disinformation, this non-information, this information that's geared at, sometimes it's selling things, sometimes it's just being relevant on YouTube, just presentation, drives me crazy. So this is going to be, I don't care how long it goes, it's my channel. Like I said, if Jeremy can hit the Mekong, make a political statement, I'm a whole lot smarter than, it's funny, I shouldn't say that. Jeremy's the one smart guy on that show. So I think me and Jeremy would enjoy a pint together, even though I don't drink. I'd be happy to watch. He might not drink now too. He's grown up. But anyway, some of the inferences and some of the suppositions that I make here are going to make you mad, and I'm happy that they do. I might say something just to do that, because my only goal here is that we think together, and that beautiful thing happens where someday, 20 years from now, some kid's being interviewed on a shoot somewhere, and he's going to say, yeah, my Uncle Billy got me started in this. He would sit down there and fiddle around on his lathe, and he made stuff that shot so good, and he met these guys, and it was the awesomest thing. And I always grabbed when I had the money, because money is always the issue, but beyond that, we have to have passion. You get past the age of 50 and you haven't defined some passions in your life, you might as well just go, I better not say that because that's so PC, or so non-PC. I can't say you might as well go, but I can. That's my point. I can say whatever I want on here. So, here we are. I've just killed enough time that I'm going to shut this down. We're going to segue into the next part. I'm going to center this up a little bit, and we're going to go ahead and mash these in and find out how they look.